Welcome to episode 11 of Abigail Recovery's Listen Up podcast. Today we've got the great pleasure of having May Riddell from May Riddle Therapies on my podcast. Welcome, May.
Thanks so much. It's wonderful to be here.
How are you, May?
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm in a good place. I always feel a wee bit vulnerable and anxious just before I'm going to talk about myself and my life. So, but life is good. I'm really good, actually.
Good, and it's good to see you, May. So, a wee introduction. So, last year on January the 1st, 2025, you became the founder of May Riddle Therapies.
Yeah.
And we'll speak a wee bit about that throughout the show. Formerly worked with Addaction, the Second Chance project, where I initially met you at first when I worked alongside you for a short period. Then you moved on to recovery advocacy with Castle Craig, and then starting up yourself with May Riddle Therapies.
Aye.
Obviously, you're a person in recovery yourself from addiction, and probably that's a good place to start. Would you want to tell us a wee bit how you arrived in recovery or the situations there? Yeah,
thanks, Eddie. It's really good to be here and just sort of chatting about this as well. But coming into recovery, it seems like, it honestly feels like another lifetime ago, to be quite honest. But I was an alcoholic, an addict, more into drugs, I would say, than alcohol. But I suppose there was no really. I'd have preferred drugs to alcohol, but I had a real lifetime trauma.
Okay.
Violence, a lot of violence when I was younger. Seen a lot of violence, experienced that with my parents and stuff like that. And then I don't know what was the cause of me becoming a drug addict. Was it that? Was it, all the different things that happened as I went along? I don't know. I've no idea. I kind of, as the years have passed, it's no meant that much to me anymore, to be honest. But anyway, I ended up a heroin addict. I was actually an opiate addict. I used all kind of opiates. And then at one point when I was 42, I had tried to get clean for 6 years. So I was with my children in the house, on and off as a single parent. And I wanted to get clean. It was strange when I look back now, all through my life, I just wanted to do the right thing. That was who I was. That was me. But I get caught up in things and my life went the way it went, and I really couldn't get out of the addiction. I couldn't get out of it. I had tried all different ways to stop using the drugs, stop drinking. And I was absolutely consumed by fear, really, most of my life. And the drugs certainly helped me with that. But there came a time when it all got too much and I couldn't continue to use. So I tried to take my own life. Okay. I was 42. And through a series of events that happened after that, overdose that I took, I ended up getting to a meeting and finding out that actually there's another way to life, coming across the fellowship.
How did you find out about that, the fellowship? Did somebody guide you there? Was it?
Yeah, that's a good question. What had happened was 9 years before, my eldest daughter's father had taken me to an NA meeting in May Riddell, and I was really quite heavily under the influence, and it was too stark, it was too honest, it was too much for me. So I actually couldn't wait to go out of that meeting and just get home and really use more drugs, to be quite honest. Nothing to do with the meeting. It was just I wasn't ready for that. Yeah. So fast forward to tape 9 years, a lot has happened. I've became a heroin addict. I've got a habit with Valium and dihydrocodeine and other stuff, and fentanyl as well. I was a fentanyl addict. And then when I had tried to take my own life and it never worked, I remembered that meeting. When I came to, I remembered that meeting, and I phoned the NA helpline in London, And they told me about a meeting in Byers Road in Glasgow. And I went. And that's how I found out about meetings, and how I eventually went back after 9 years. And that was a total different meeting for that first one 9 years before.
Yeah.
Totally different. My life changed then that night. Everything changed for me.
So what does that look like? You know, because it's hard to kind of picture, isn't it? A life of addiction, a life of chaos.
Yep.
Then you go to a meeting and things change quite quickly. What changed?
Everything changed. No, that night.
Yeah.
But it was the beginning of the end of the old life. But I didn't know that. I just knew that something had to happen, because, you know, I couldn't continue to use and I couldn't stop using. Mm-hmm. So I was stuck in this middle ground. I was in this land of limbo, this kind of limbo place. And when I walked into that meeting that night, I was actually really surprised, because I thought, who are these people? They're no drug addicts.
Yeah.
Because people were looking quite well in that. Do you know what I mean? They were all talking like as if they were like cocaine addicts and heroin addicts and alcoholics and all this, and they were talking this stuff. And I was like, I don't think so. So there was a kind of element of that is this for real? It was very surprising. It was strange. It was like hitting 30 mile an hour. You're not expecting this other way of life. My life had been really isolated, and I brought my kids up. I've been a mother for I was 15 years. I was pregnant, left school at 14.
Okay.
I had quite an it was just with the wains, kind of, bringing the wains up. And so walking into that meeting that night was like, oh my God. The guy at a table sitting there with this other lassie who'd introduced him, and what I know now, he was going to do a top table share. Mm-hmm. But I was just blown away by what this guy was saying. I was like, what? You could stop all that. You actually could stop all that. Yeah. And I think now, Eddie, when I look back, I think, aye, that's right. That's right. Because I have now done it. And I know thousands of other people that have done it. So, but in the moment that night, to answer your question, it was pretty shocking. Yeah. It was very unreal, actually. It was surreal experience for me.
And how long did it take for you to kind of detox or adjust to being abstinent? What was the process there? Well,
when I went to leave that meeting, a lassie shouted on me, Kirsty, and she went, hear me. She gave me a bit of paper. It had a number of a place on it called Second Chance Project, which was in Postal at the time. Mm-hmm. But I had never used the service before. I was a kind of sneaky addict. I just lied about everything and kept things kept everything under wraps, because I was scared the wains would get taken away from me. That was my fear, that they would take the kids off me. And really, see, when I got clean, Eddie, when I look back on that many times, I thought they should have been taken off me. But I didn't feel, I was too scared to ask for the help. I thought that I would get judged, and I had all the attendants suffering of that.
Yeah. I think we are starting to find out a lot of women don't come forward, though, do they, because of that sole reason. And it's maybe why we've not seen more females come into recovery or access services, because of that fear, you know.
It honestly makes me so sad.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, I would like to think that things are changing, because see, when nearly 17 years ago when I walked into Second Chance, there was 11 guys in that group and me and this other lassie for Clydebank. Mm-hmm. So there was only 2 women in that group, and all these guys. And I remember having that conversation in a group in Second Chance, and one of the boys asked me, and I was like, I've no idea. I don't know why. But why? That's a good question. Why is there? I didn't know. But as the years have passed, plus as well, see, when you've lived the kind of life that I've lived, you keep so much under wraps. It takes a long time for that to come out and be uncovered. Yeah. And for you to start to sort of discover parts of yourself. But when as time goes on with recovery and you start to see the truth, you start to realise things. But that's what kept me I was worried that they would take the wains off me. And what would I do then?
Yeah.
And I think there's something quite selfish as well. It's selfless in that. It's a bit of a dualistic thing, that. But that's how I thought. And I just wasn't prepared for all the stuff that I came to see about recovery. And I think now, all this time later, what I'm seeing looking in on it is getting more open. It is getting more honest.
Yeah.
Is that because I am? You know, is that because my perception is? I don't think it matters. But the very thought that there's women sitting out there, I've actually got a story if you want to hear it about that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
When I left, I went into Second Chance Project. So I got up every day, I put the Waynes into school, I get a bus for Knightswood to the Toon, a bus for the Toon to Second Chance. And then the same home. Get home, made the Waynes their dinner, done their homework, went to a meeting, and I had to do that every night for 90 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I left Second Chance and I went back to work as a volunteer. And I remember one night, I was on the bus coming for the Toon to Postle, to Saracen Street. And the bus stopped outside a block of tenements, and I looked toward to my right, and inside the house there was a woman sitting on a chair, and there was a wee kid. He was maybe about 9, and he was standing leaning against the frame of the door. And he was just staring out the window, and the mother, I seen her look up, and she saw me looking at her. And I swear to God, in an instant, I seen what I thought was her whole life. It just was like, it was like me. I was looking at myself.
Yeah.
And the Wayne said something to her, and I seen her keeping eye contact with me, and she got up for that seat, and I seen her walk right out of the window and shut the curtain.
Yeah.
And I remember the feeling, and I thought, is she sitting in that house the way I was? Does she know? You know how sometimes I know when I just get clean, I thought we should tell the whole world.
Yeah.
I wanted to get off the bus and go to your door and go, listen, I mean, maybe the woman wasn't a drug addict, maybe she wasn't a drug user, maybe she had no problems. But that's what I felt.
Yeah.
And I've not spoke about that for a long time, actually, that story.
I know, and it's a lot of the kind of moments happen in early recovery as well, don't they, where you start to notice others, you know, and relate our pain into other people's life. But when you're caught up in addiction, you're not noticing this stuff, you're not feeling that stuff. So you've mentioned Second Chance a couple of times. Yeah, this is the start of a beautiful romance, wasn't it? That lasted for a load of years. So what was the programme when you went to Second Chance? What you mentioned there, you had to go there 90 days?
And I had to go in there every day for 90 days.
Okay.
But, you know, the manager, Billy, says to me, you need to come in here, he says, and don't tell me that there's something wrong with the Waynes, or don't tell me. He was very, very strict.
Yeah.
And I was ready for that, Eddie. I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed somebody to take me and go, that's what you do. You need to, that's what I know it's not like that for everybody, but I needed that, and it was great. But he told me, you have to come in here every day, May. He went, even if this or that's happening, he went, you get in here. He went, you don't get a day off in here. And I thought, God, that's really, do you know what I mean? But anyway, that's what happened. When I went into Second Chance, so I would get the Waynes ready in the morning, get them to school, get in with the buses, and then see when I done that detox and all, they gave me a detox because I was an opiate addict and I had a 30-year habit with Valium, prescribed Valium. So they gave me a 2-week detox, and I mean, this is a bit of a rough story.
That's right.
But I'd like to talk about it. I had to, I couldn't eat probably for about 5 weeks. I couldn't keep anything down.
Yeah.
So this is, I've been using for, I was probably about, my first drug was alcohol, and it was when I was 9, and then I was using it every day for I was about 13. I'm 42 now, and I've never really had a day clean.
Yeah.
My system's in shock, but I had to get off the bus a few times on the way. It was always that second bus, so I would always take an extra pair of pants with me because I had to get off, because I would be, you know, it would just be running out of me, and I would be sick and couldn't keep anything doing. The only thing that I wasn't sick with was water. So I had all that going on, as well as having to do all the stuff that you do, plus getting the Waynes out of school. But I had to go in there and sit through groups, and I'd be sweating, and my pupils, I just looked like a real weirdo. You know, I looked like a bit of an alien because my pupils were always massive. I was waking up. But I wasn't just waking up for the years of addiction. I was waking up for the fear that I had lived in my whole life. I didn't know, Eddie, it would take me. It's still, I mean, I've used therapy a few times, or the time that I've been clean, but I think it's a great thing, therapy. But I wasn't. It would take years for me to really thaw out.
Yeah.
And I've got to be honest with you, that's still happening for me. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean to frighten anybody by saying that, because it is sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. For me, that bit's been quite a slow process, because there were so much for me to get through with the things with the trauma. Because not only was I wasn't prepared to look at it, there's a lot of things I didn't remember and have come back as the years have passed. Yeah. But in Second Chance, it put us in groups. We had to do group work, and I couldn't believe how honest folk were. Mm-hmm. There's about 11 boys and one lassie and me, and they were talking about things like stealing off their partners and I was a shoplifter. I mean, I was a shoplifter my whole life. My mother took us all out when we were wee, showed us how to steal. We had to do that. Yeah. And I'm not making any excuses for what I done, because you're an adult, you know it's right. I knew it was wrong when I was a child. Yeah. But I continued to do it because it helped me. But listening to the boys in there, I thought, oh God, I couldn't believe I was shocked about what they were saying about. And that helped me. Yeah. So I understand now that philosophy, that very, very basic psychology of takes one person in a group, to be honest, and then it's bang, right round it goes. Yeah. Because that's what happens, isn't it? Yeah. So group work's group facilitation's been a massive part of your career as well, May, and we'll speak about that as it goes on. But I think it's important we speak about Second Chance project still running, isn't it? You know, I know it's moved. It was Sauchiehall Street when I worked there with you. That's right. Imagine we worked together. I know. And Billy's still there. Billy's still the manager. Amazing, Billy's still the manager. Billy. So it started off. I think they started off in White Inch, but I don't know about the days because I wasn't there. I was there in Postal. Then it moved to Sauchiehall Street and now to Carrollton Place. Yeah. Second Chance Project helps people like me and you know, people in recovery or people that are in addiction that want out it. Yeah. I mean, it changed my life. How could I even express that? I couldn't express words. So my gratitude for it. Yeah. So you complete 90 days a Second Chance Project? Yep, 90 days. And what happens then? Well, in amongst the group work as well, we got a couple of one-to-ones. Diane Ferguson was my key worker, and she gave me a few one-to-ones and really, really hit home with a few things I had to do with the weigh-ins, things I had to do with sort of nutrition and stuff. There was nothing to me. I could hardly even eat anything. And after that, I left. When I left Second Chance, I asked if I could go and do voluntary, but I had to be 6 months, so I waited, and then I went back at 6 months. But I wasn't there doing the voluntary long when I went to college to do a national certificate in health and social care. So I'm 43 now at that point, but I'm really, really off track with learning because I left school, as I said, pregnant, 14. Yeah, I've not got that way of mind. My mind's slow. Everything's a bit sluggish, and everything's slow. But I went back and worked with them for a wee while, voluntary, to Second Chance, and there was these metal gates in Addaction Street in Postal when you walked into Second Chance. And I never forget, there was just something about them. It was like a magical thing happened when I walked through the gates in the morning. It was like I could breathe, I could relax, my shoulders would let go. It was like it's a bit of a cliche, I know, and I don't mean to be ding me, but it really was like my spiritual home. Yeah. It really was a spiritual home for me. It was a place that's always stayed very, very dear in my heart. I'm back doing voluntary for them again. I do some women's groups for them there now, just once a month. I mean, I just feel that I recognise that work and what it does for folk. I recognise how much a life and a heart can be changed just by somebody reaching out and helping you and going, right, this is what you do this. Because if you're a drug addict and you're lost in that kind of way of thinking and you're lost in the substances and you can't stop and you come across a place like that, it's like finding an oasis in the desert. Totally. And I think, you know,
I think when I first came around recovery, there was a lot of day programs running then, and they've gradually kind of faded out, haven't they, over the years and stuff. And Second Chance has always stayed there. And it's like, if there's any listeners here just now and they're caught up in addiction and have got an interest in that, it's certainly a place that I would recommend, and obviously for yourself as well. It probably is the day program.
I've got the number if you want it.
Yeah, I also you can say the number. But it definitely is the day program in the Glasgow area, isn't it? Where you would go to, and that's not an easy job going there. You know, there's a lot of expectations, what action you're going to put in your recovery, rather than maybe sometimes we see a lot now people are wanting stuff done for them. Would that be fair to say? That was not like that at Second Chance?
That's very fair, and it's very real.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've got to be honest with you, if it is the sort of place, I mean, Second Chance Project is new, which, as I said, is new in Carlton Place. The number for that is 0141 336 7272. That's the number for Second Chance Project. But it is the place, and Eddie's right. I mean, you've got to go in, and you're going to have to roll your sleeves up.
Aye.
I mean, but I'm specifically thinking here for anybody, but especially the women out there that are sitting in the house going, I can't do this. What's going to happen with the weans? Will they take the weans off me? Will they think that I'm not capable? That's not going to happen these days. This is 2026. We're going to help you. You know, there's places like Second Chance, and, you know, in different places. There's places everywhere. If you live in Scotland, or no matter where you live in the world, we've now got a bit more savvy than we've ever had with addiction stuff. But you're right, Eddie, you're going to have to roll your sleeves up. This is not getting done for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you want to change your life, you're really going to have to do some work. The people that you go to, like Second Chance, like Harbour, you know, like Castle Craig, like all the different places, Rainbow and all the places, all the great places out there, they're all great places, every one of them. But the bottom line is what you prepared today.
Yeah.
What is it you want? If you just want a wee bit of respite, well, you're going to go into one of these places and get a bit of respite, and then you're going to go out and use again, probably.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but statistics tells us that, isn't it? That's what's going to happen. But if you want a real chance at life, it's there. It's there, but it's not an easy task. Well, you heard what I said. I had to go up and put weans in school. I was actually a wee bit anxious and nervous with the boys in Second Chance. There was a day in a group. I said, I'm really annoyed with yous because you all just get up in the morning, iron your clothes, and come in here.
Yeah.
I was so annoyed with them. The boys never done anything. It wasn't really about the boys. That was more about my frustration. You know, and being a mother, it was a drug addict. And no feeling as though, but I felt that because I didn't know the facts.
Yeah.
People need to know the facts now. There's places out there like Second Chance that are got like Harbour and Ayrshire. I mean, look at these places, look what they're doing miraculous work.
Yeah.
I mean, look at my life. I went into Second Chance. I've never looked back.
Totally. So when did things in your recovery really start to improve for you? Maybe you started to feel good about yourself, where you could start to see the gifts of recovery starting to kind of flourish in your life?
I think that happened really quick, but I wasn't really conscious of it.
Right.
It wasn't a consciousness that came slowly as the time passed, the months and the years passed. And I've got to be honest, there were some times I wanted to use in those early days. I mean, even now, all these years in, I mean, sometimes I still, you know, about Christmas, I always think about a wee drink. I don't know why Christmas, but I just do. But it was a slow process that I wasn't conscious. I started to notice that I felt better. I looked better. My God, I was putting a bit of weight on. It was difficult with the children. See, with the weans, it was awful difficult because they all wanted to talk to me and ask me lots of questions, and I felt all of a sudden, even though I had lived with my children my whole life, they were never away from me, but I felt as though it was too much. It was hard. I thought I started to understand why people went into rehabs. And I really honestly wished that I had have.
Yeah.
There was a point that I thought, I can't do this. I'm clean now. I got there. I got what I wanted to do. I tried for 6 years and now I'm clean, and I can't cope with the children.
Yeah.
The pressure of all the different dynamics, because my children have all got 10 years between each other. So I've got a daughter at 43 and a daughter at 23, and there's a 33-year-old in the middle. Do you know what I mean? And imagine when I just get clean. I mean, maybe Maya was only 7 when I get clean.
Oh, different needs.
And I had to take her to meetings with me.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't take her to meetings without headphones. She'd had enough. I didn't want my daughter hearing any more.
Yeah.
The things that you hear in meetings was too much. She had to live with me. So it was. I wasn't conscious when it happened. I felt it happened early, but I couldn't have articulated it. I couldn't have. And a wee bit at a time, it got better and it rolled on to something else. And then, I mean, the wonderful, wonderful thing about, people laugh at me still, Eddie, when I say this, but I wanted to pay my rent.
Yeah.
I had been going to the social and getting crisis loans and this loans and money for that and money for this. Living on Provi loans, catalogues. I wanted to do this thing that everybody seemed to do, and everybody, because you know what it's like, the grass is always greener, because when you get on the other side and you're doing it and you're honest and you've got a job, you're like, oh my God. Yeah. But to me, it looked greener. And I wanted to be there. I wanted to be the educated person that had a job. And I had that. And, I mean, even when I was a shoplifter, I was helping others. I've always been like that.
Yeah.
If I was a child, because it was part of my trauma as a wee girl, that I should do things for other people. I've had to let that go. That's been such a journey for me in itself.
See, in those early stages of recovery, and you're speaking about that kind of childhood trauma and stuff, would that rise its head for you? Or was that something you just kind of had to push past during that time until you were in a place to kind of do one-to-one kind of therapy or whatever like that?
Things would come up, and I had went to fellowship meetings and I had been backed on the 12-step program, which I believe helped to change my life. But it also gave me other ideas to seek outside help and to look into other things, which was therapy and different things. But things would come up and I couldn't deal with them. So I just pushed them back down. I went totally against what the ethos, the core of the 12-step tells us, but it was how I done it.
Yeah.
And it worked for me and it got me through, and I never used.
Yeah.
And everything still went on, but it would take quite a few years for me to begin the process. And even when at 2 years I went for, I done a year's counselling for childhood trauma stuff.
Okay.
That was the start of it. That was the very start of it. But I think that over the years I've been back and had therapy a few times.
So, kind of trauma has been identified as one of the biggest kind of factors, and I think you spoke about it earlier. We can't blame that on the addiction. A lot of people have trauma as well. They don't become addicted to substances and stuff like that. But certainly for a lot of people addicted to substances, there's a huge percent of trauma there, childhood trauma, etc. A lot of people are scared to come into recovery, put down the substances, because they know that they're going to have to face that trauma. What would be your kind of advice for it? Maybe any women listening or whatever regarding that?
Wonderful question. I mean, the truth of that is, Eddie, that it's really, that is, I mean, what is it do you want? Yeah. What do we want? Because we've got to ask ourselves that question. Nothing good's going to come easy. If we need to wade through stuff, we're going to need to wade through it to get to the light. Yeah. Because it's dark in those places of trauma. Abuse and everything else that goes on in people's lives. It's a dark place to be. I totally understand the fear because I had it myself. I lived it. I lived it. The drugs took the edge off it for me. But the bottom line is that you can continue on the path you're on and you can stay scared. and you can stay with all that stuff polluting your mind, body and soul. And I know it's hard today, but it's doable. I've done it. I'm doing it. I'm living it. I never go there. I see a therapist now, but they say every good counsellor has a therapist.
Yeah.
So, and it's great. It's really great when you start getting freed up and you know you've got a safe place. And if there is any woman out there that are sitting listening to this and thinking, oh no, that I can't, because it was too much. It was really terrible for me. I can't speak about it. Fair enough. Do you know what I mean? But I ask you this: what is it you want in life? Because if we want a bit more freedom, if we want our lives to be a bit different, we're going to have to start somewhere. We don't have to go and look at all the trauma at once. Look at me. I've done it all 17 years.
Yeah.
It's been all the years and I'm still doing it here and there. And has it been a long, hard slog? No. It's been a great journey. It's had its ups and downs. It's hard sitting when you have a realisation about something that happened when you were 7, when you have a memory that you forgot for nearly 40 years. It's very difficult. I know what that's like, but it's doable. I'm still here. I'm still doing the deal. I'm still clean and sober. Yeah. My life is good. I got freedom for it somewhere along the line. I'm not quite there. I know that. But I'm getting there and it's great. So for anybody that would listen to this that would have that fear, go for it. Just try it. Just please try and reach out and go for it and see how it goes for you. Because I don't know what it's going to be like for somebody else.
Yeah, that's great.
I can only say for me.
Yeah. But
would I advise people to do it? I would never advise somebody to stay stuck in addiction. Never. Because we don't need to.
No. And I think sometimes when people are reaching out for help now, sometimes it's easier for services to keep them stuck, isn't it? And medicate that and stuff like that as well. But that's why it's so important, like people like yourself, to carry your message as well, May, to let people know there is a way out.
I know, and I'm always a bit worried about standing in people's toes, because I know the years that I've been about doing my thing for myself and my ways and my family and for my own life and helping others, I've seen a lot of different things. I mean, I don't want to sit in the fence with it either, because, what could I say? It goes back to that, what did I want? I wanted just to have a decent life. I wanted to have a job and go on holidays and have a car and fall in love and my wains to be all right. And I wanted to pay my bills and I wanted to stop being dishonest and I wanted to stop shoplifting and I wanted to stop living in fear. Yeah. So that answers the question, what did I want? So when I take it back to that, that's what I wanted. And I couldn't do that while I was using. I was nowhere near it. I was stuck in the trauma, the played out record over and over and over again. I know there's a lot of people out there like that. I know it. I don't need to ask anybody. I see it. Do you know what I mean? But the thing is that some people are stuck in the medicated way of being that. I think that I can totally understand it. Yeah. I remember on the bus into Second Chance one day thinking, God, I just need to, my heart seemed to beat fast forever. It never slowed down. And my pupils were always dead big and I was always sweating. But this was all everything coming out my system. But I remember sitting in the bus that day, Eddie, going, please God, can I just have a few Valium?
Just a few.
I just wanted a bit of, so I understand the medicated and I think there's a kind of pollution of mind, body and soul when you're in that medicated way, Yeah. There isn't clarity. There comes a clarity becoming abstinence. I know it's sore and I know it's hard and I was able to do it. I know lots of people that have done it. I mean, it is scary. I know it's scary. But it's bloody well doable.
Definitely. And I think, move on, your recovery hasn't been straightforward and all kind of happiness and everything, has it either, May?
No.
You've been through quite a lot of situations in your recovery. Is that fair to say?
Aye, there's been. I just love how you put that, Eddie.
Yeah.
Aye, but you're right. I mean, and I know this is not about anybody else. This the day is about me, but I know other people go through stuff. But aye, there's been a lot happened. I mean, I can't say that, you know, I've had my fair share ups and downs in recovery. You know, I've been broken-hearted on more than a few occasions. I lost my wee brothers. Two wee brothers died with drug addiction. Not even a year apart. And having to go and clear their houses and then having to date again so soon, and then my mum. And we had a lot of that going on, and that's very common, I know that. But we have to look at ourselves, you know, we have to feel we're in stuff, do you know what I mean? And I and my partner relapsed, we were getting married, and, you know, I loved him and I wanted to get married to him, and I had an idea, he had a great life there, and as people do. But that didn't work out, and that was quite heartbreaking for me. I was a wee bit crazy with that stuff. And then I was diagnosed with cancer. I had cancer when I was 5 year clean. And it was really strange as well, because I was diagnosed with, I was 5 year clean, and a job come up in Second Chance, the place that I get clean. And the day I was to start in there was the day I was diagnosed with cancer.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I had to go into my new job a day late, and I had to go and tell Billy that I had to take 3 months off.
How does that feel, getting that kind of that news that you've got cancer? How
Mind shattering, earth moving. There isn't I wish I could. Some people have asked me that. I always think when I'm asked that, I wish I could get a proper explanation. But the earth just kind of moves, and it's like everything goes and shifts. You're sitting in a seat and somebody says, you know, this is cancer. And that's a strange proposition. That's a strange thing to hear. And
how did you deal with that?
I don't think I dealt with it authentically. And that's the truth. I don't. I felt that I was 5 years clean. The 12-step programme was everything to me. I was very much an advocate of 12-step. And I'd hid behind it, I think, Eddie. I never really... a lot of the trauma in that was to come up then, and then as the years passed after that as well, I hid behind it in a way. I was scared. My truth was I was really scared, and I thought, right, okay, how can I do this? How can I... If that happened to me the day, I would give myself a cuddle. First of all, I would give myself some love, and I would go, May, it's all right. It's all right. Whatever it is you feel is absolutely fine. So I felt that I just kind of went into the zone. I get, you know, because I'd done it my whole life. Me and my sister were running a house when we were 7. Making dinners, making beds, stamp washing in the bath. You can't change that. You can't change that overnight, that ingrained way of thinking. You know that book, The Road Less Travelled? The road more travelled, the neural pathway in the brain, it's got a big groove because it's happened over and over and over. Just got right into how can I fix this? How can I do it? How can I get through it? That's what I done. But there was part of me that was dead scared. And I didn't really want to admit that. And I had to tell my daughters, I know. And that broke my heart.
How did that affect you? How long did that last? The treatment or whatever for that?
I was in hospital about 6 weeks later. They removed my whole right breast, and I got what they call a latissimus dorsi flap. So they opened up my back, they stripped my latissimus dorsi muscle out, which is the muscle, if you don't know, takes the arm from here down.
Okay.
So they took the latissimus dorsi, they hooked it under my arm, and round the front into my breast, and they created a new breast with it.
Okay.
And then they put me on tamoxifen, and they says 5 years. Then after the 5 years, they said it would be another 5 years. But I had started to get side effects after this. Well, I thought it was after that. I'm not sure the day. But once I'd done a wee bit, I never done any research or anything. I never done anything. I just didn't want to know. That's how I dealt with it.
Yeah.
And then at 9 years in, I stopped the tamoxifen. So I stopped the hormone stuff that was going into my body. I stopped it.
Right.
But a few years before that, I had started getting into foraging and healthier eating and healthier ways of being and breath work and ways of thinking and different kind of movement. I do a bit of qigong and tai chi as well. I do lymph clearing and all that.
Yeah.
But when you're diagnosed with cancer, you do become obsessive about your health.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, a lot of things I buy is about for health and I grow my own veg and all that. And
so you're in recovery 5 years, clean, get diagnosed with cancer, go through the treatment. What's your support like round about you at that time?
Absolutely fabulous.
What you got? Who you got?
The fellowship was amazing for me always, still is to this day. But then I was very much, probably for the first 10 or 11 years in my recovery, I was at meetings a lot. Everybody knew me. I had opened groups. I had been in groups. I had, you know, so I had all that support, and it was wonderful. My daughters supported me. My friends supported me. I had great support. And I believe the day if anything happened or that, or I needed, but things are different in the day. I've become a different person for that person we're talking about here.
Totally.
I'm a very different person for her the day. I don't feel as though, as much as I still like to have friends and that, I spend a lot of my time away myself, foraging, and I like my own company.
Yeah.
But I do like to be amongst people, but not for too long, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So we'll move on to that now. So obviously through that process, at this stage of your life, you've moved into employment, I take. You started with the Second Chance Project the day you get diagnosed. Was that volunteering or was that employed?
When I first got clean, I left Second Chance Project. I was 90 days clean, and I done different posts. I worked in May Riddell Women's Cafe. I done voluntary there. I done a national certificate in health and social care, but we had a big family tragedy just as I was coming to the end of that, and I had to leave it. I was actually like weeks away from finishing it. Eventually went back and got it sorted, and then, so I done lots of voluntary work and back to Second Chance. Then I ended up at 4 years clean. So I done masses of voluntary work, masses of 12-step work. Loved that. I still work with women the day through the 12 steps, but the SDF, the Addiction Worker Training Programme, I done that 12 years ago. I was 4 years clean. Oh my God. I mean, that was a fork in the road. That was absolutely astounding for me.
Brilliant.
It was astounding to go in there and get a real qualification. I got an SVQ2 in health and social care. How good, you know?
Yeah. So where did you get a placement with the SDF and services?
I did, yeah.
Where did you end up?
I ended up, first of all, in Glasgow House.
Yeah, I worked in there.
I ended up in there. Then I went to Addaction. Glasgow House, Mary Hill, and Addaction in Postle. Springburn's no Postle. And they were my two placements, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it opened my mind and all. It opened my mind that total abstinence wasn't working for everybody. Total abstinence wasn't, because I would say I was quite arrogant in a way. Because when you find something that saves your life, you're like a pure advocate for it. You know, 12 steps. I was like a 12-step robot, but such as it is. Do you know what I mean? The 12 steps is a beautiful programme. Simplistic, beautiful. Do you know? So it works. But harm reduction works for some people as well at particular parts of their life. Do you know what I mean? I just feel that You want something different, get them in quick, get them off the substances. Let's go.
Aye.
You can look at your trauma and that as you go. Let's go, let's get a start somewhere.
Yeah.
So that was and then so done the SDF for a year, Scottish Drugs
I
Forum.
just need to say, it's been a great programme for so many people over the years, the
Hasn't
SDF
it?
training programme, hasn't it? You know,
Yeah.
majority of people who maybe get into this kind of line of work and stuff did that over the years,
Aye.
didn't they?
Well, there was me when the education.
Yeah.
And I remember going for the interview thinking, oh no, I'm not going to get this. They're going to look for clever people and all that. That's actually what I thought at the time.
Yeah.
But it was for people like me. Do you know what I mean? It was great. I thought, this is wonderful. Just slowly but surely things were just getting better and better and better for me.
Yeah.
And then I done that for the year. I worked in Addaction after that for 3 months or 16 hours a week. And I was only 3 months in there when the job came up in Second Chance.
Okay.
And that was, as I say, I was 5 years.
Yeah.
And I went for the job in Second Chance and got that. And I worked there for nearly 8 years.
That's right.
I loved it.
And there's something special about that, you know, the place that kind of helps you, isn't there? You know,
Aye.
to go back there and give back. And I always remember on my kind of placement in there, you know, just your passion and how much you were a massive part of that place, May, you know, and you were
That's nice
you
to
were on
know.
fire at that time as well, weren't you?
Aye.
You know, with recovery and stuff like that. And, you know, that's attractive, isn't it? You know,
Aye.
and for sometimes people get into a service to see people working like that with that fire and that passion, you know, that's why would you not want that?
That's
You
right.
know, that's my kind of experience. I kind of got into Second Chance at that time, you know, and
That's wonderful.
everybody was there, and I know you've helped so many people through that time, you know, and people speak really highly of you. Went through that project, May. I know we might be kind of time-wise here, so a lot of happy years in Second Chance, but you decided to make a move on from there to develop. Would that be fair?
Yeah, well, we thought Second Chance was shutting and it was lockdown and we done our thing. And then I ended up out at Castle Craig in the Borders for 3 years. Yeah. I've done a recovery advocacy out there. And everywhere I've went, I've got to be honest with you, Eddie, everywhere I've went for, I've got clean and sober, I've learned lots. And mostly, and most importantly for me, I've learned a lot about myself.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was about other people. And I hid behind that for a long time, I think, not knowingly or consciously. But when you start to see, your life's really about you. It needs to start with you. I'm at the centre of my life, then things come out for there. So, you know, everything that I do comes out for there. But I went out to Castle Craig and I was there 3 years. I loved the job out there as I did in Second Chance. It was just like the 12-hour shifts were too much for me. I mean, you know, my next birthday I'm going to be 60.
Wow.
So I'm a bit like, well, I'm wanting to be more gentle with myself. I've had cancer, I've had a lot in my life. I'm not wanting to be one of these people that are running constantly to get into my grave.
It's not sustainable either, is it?
No, I don't want to do it anyway.
No,
I want to have a nice day. I want to go foraging holidays and, you know, bushcraft holidays, what I was saying. But then in January, we started with in January last year, 2025. It was October before that, I had an idea. My daughter and I, my middle daughter Rebecca, and I says to her, I think I'll just start my own business and see where it goes. We'll start off with doing online meditation because I already do that now for a few big companies. I do online meditation. So I started with that, but it wasn't really my thing. I wanted to do, I'm a group facilitator. That's what I wanted and that's who I am. I've been doing that for years. So I started the wee business and that's me 14 months in.
So obviously that's a massive achievement, isn't it? Going on your own, it's a massive step, isn't it? You don't really know what that's going to look like. You know, sometimes if you could feel maybe a risk stepping out there, working for yourself.
Scary.
What for people listening? What is it you deliver there? What's all the different types of kind of therapies you deliver? Because I've heard about some of them earlier, you know, sound really interesting. So
I always get mixed up at this bit.
I know,
and Rebecca's going to kill me. But so my business really is based on facilitating groups. I've got lots of different sections that I work with. So I do a lot of recovery and addiction and recovery stuff.
Okay.
I also do one-to-ones online, supporting people that are either in early recovery, or some people are years in recovery. Some people have never been near a drug or a drink in their life.
Okay, so you can be at any stage.
Yeah, and any sort of thing in life, really.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist or a clinical therapist or anything. So I do that. I facilitate groups on well-being and health. So I do some great groups on that. I take them into the community. I do a lot of stuff online as well. I can do that one-to-one, or I do it. But the community groups are wonderful. I just love them.
Yeah.
There's nothing better for me than getting into the community. And then I've done some work recently for Harbour and for the Scottish Drugs Forum, Castle Craig, you know. So I'm taking these groups and they're very on the deck, simplistic, great groups. My stuff's based on just being honest about this is how it is. We're not trying to dress this up. We just want to come in with this and do this. But so I do group work. I do one-to-ones, and you know, a lot of sort of holistic therapy things as well. I'm actually just had accreditation as a wellness facilitator.
Congratulations.
Even though I've been thanks, Ed. Even though I've been doing a lot of the things for years, I didn't have a thing to say this is who I am.
Yeah.
Now in these days, maybe we feel that we need these things.
Yeah.
I don't know what I need, to be honest with you. I mean, I really don't. I don't know if it's real, if that's even real. But it's like people say, "Oh, what is it? What have you got?" And you're like, "Well, you know, I've been doing this for 16 years.
Yeah.
Come and let me show you what I can do." So that's kind of where I'm kind of heart-driven and honest about the things that I do. But I love working with folk. And as I say, that's what I do: addiction recovery, holistic well-being stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely an area that's really become more prominent, isn't it? You know, certainly for myself, getting into recovery, you think you become well because you're detoxed, you know, but that's you just at a very early stage, isn't it?
It is.
Then your diet, lack of exercise, getting into work, getting stressed and stuff, then all that comes and hits you at a certain point, you know, and being clean or sober isn't enough anymore. So we need, certainly for me, it needs to be that next step. We spoke a lot earlier before the podcast about kind of the importance of diet, well-being, kind of what you spoke about, kind of stuff like yoga, meditation, whatever it may be.
Yep.
Nobody's going to come and take care of your body for you.
Absolutely not.
Nobody's going to come in and do that.
No.
It needs to be me, and it needs to step out there. And I'm a big believer in kind of businesses like yourself, May, you know, getting access and stuff like that as well. And certainly for our clients and staff well-being as well. I know you deliver that. So Abigail's going to be...
Forgot about that. There you go.
There you go, staff well-being. I'll keep you right, mate.
Thank you, Eddie. I know I need somebody to do that.
But it is so important, you know, in the world we live in now, because it can just swallow us up, can't it?
Well, this is the stuff that makes me happy. Yeah. So that's why why it's the business that I do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I've not got anybody to go like that. I mean, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I've not got anybody to pull me and go. My daughter will say to me, you know, she does give me any bother at times, but I'm my own boss. But I'm a hard worker, Eddie.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where I go. I'm a very hard worker, and my heart's in it. Do you know what I mean? So I give my best shot, and I want to do that, and I feel really privileged that I can do it with the stuff that I love talking about. Totally. That I love talking about. That I love because I've got a lot of professional experience on now. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to be 17 years in May.
Amazing. You know, and you deserve everything. I think it's amazing as well. Like your business, your daughters, they're helping you as well.
Grandbains.
Grandbains, get them employed. No, but then you think your journey, a 14-year-old lassie who was pregnant, you know what I mean, had to leave school and stuff like that, and kind of struggled all the years. Just before we finish up, May, I asked you to think earlier of what's the most significant song in your life? I don't mean what is your favourite song. I mean a song that really kind of means something to you, is significant. Could you tell us what that is?
Yeah, there's a song by Johann Strauss called The Blue Danube. And there is something about that song that I feel as though I've been plugged into something when I hear this song. It lifts my heart. It lifts my heart to a level I don't know. It's just like, it's quite breathtaking actually, the song, The Blue Danube. It's such a beautiful song. And when I was wee, my mum used to listen to it on the radiogram in an LP size record. And then my sister that I lived with used to play it. Well, I went to stay with her when I was in a children's home for a while, and then I let to stay with her. Then I bought it on an album, Johann Strauss. I don't know what the album was called. It might have been The Blue Danube, but it just really touches me very deeply and makes me feel alive, which is good.
Amazing, mate. May, thank you so much for coming on our podcast
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for we chat and the mail earlier and stuff. It's great to see you. And if MD's looking to access any kind of the therapies that May delivers, then just make contact with ourselves at the podcast and we'll signpost you towards May. Thank you, May.
Thank you so much, Eddie. Thank you.
Cheers.